So there's a problem with this Airbnb. We've only been here for, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 minutes. We shut the door and we're locked out. Like, we got locked out. We're locked out with this amazing view. What'd you do? You shut the door and it locked.
I didn't shut it. I thought you could open it from outside because it's normal. I shut the balcony door, and now we're here stuck.
We're stuck on this balcony on the 9th floor with this amazing view. Really, really nice weather. So at least I know we're probably not gonna suffer. Just gonna sit here for a while. Enjoy it. We made it to Armenia.
Armenia.
And I like the city a lot. It is totally underrated. Absolutely underrated.
Highly underrated,
Yes.
listen.
Highly underrated. Yeah, one of the things that has made our experience in Armenia awesome is the fact that we are in this amazing building that faces directly east. So we get this like eastern sunrise every single morning. The sun comes in. We love morning sun, so that was like perfect. And we just got to see the clouds move in and out in this mountain range. And it was just beautiful. Also, this building, 1A Clubhouse, a lot of travelers come here.
We've seen a lot of people check in.
Yeah. Checking in and out. And there's a ton of amenities like on the rooftop amenities. Like, what do they have?
Turkish bath. Sauna is not working, but they have it.
Yeah.
Pool,
Jacuzzi,
game room,
Yeah,
gym,
playground. There's a playground. A little soccer field. It's really tiny soccer field.
Soccer field.
But
And then you get the view of the other side
yes,
of the city.
You basically have a view of the whole city all the way around you. And Armenia is interesting because there is like a mountain range that kind of goes all the way around the whole entire city, kind of like curves around. But that.
And then in this apartment, we got sunrise view, right? If we wanted to go see the sunset.
Go up to the rooftop. Yeah. We thought we were gonna have a view during the Turkish bath, but we'd never really done a Turkish bath before. And of course they have a window looking out on the west side, but of course it gets so foggy in there you can't see anything.
I couldn't even see my husband.
Yeah. We did the Turkish bath and we did the jacuzzi multiple times. Those were the two amenities we took advantage of. Of course, did we mention they have a pool?
Yes.
The pool's nice. We sat in the sun for just a little bit, but we're not big pool people, but it is nice. It was cool.
Another big reason why we liked Armenia and this building specifically was the functionality of the area. We had the Body Tech really close by, 2 grocery stores, plenty of restaurants,
A mall.
a mall,
Yeah.
parks that we could walk around.
Several parks. I mean, Armenia is small. Like, I literally think if you decided to, you could walk the whole city in one day easily. You could just walk the whole thing. It would probably be about 5 or 6 miles, but you could walk it. You could walk it. But the mall is right over here. It's just a half-mile walk up a hill. Not a bad walk at all.
It looks a little bit sketchy at first, but you see lots of locals doing the walk, and we felt completely safe at almost all hours of the day.
And this has really been one of our strategies as we've traveled around Colombia, is to be close to a Bodytech, which is the gym that we subscribe to, and close to a grocery store. If we can get those two things, we're pretty well set. And typically their Bodytech is inside a mall.
A mall that usually has a grocery store.
Which usually has a grocery store. So that has made it really functional. But this is a great building because of its location and amenities.
So 5 birds with one shot.
5 birds with one shot.
Johnny is way more passionate about climate. So Johnny, tell us about Armenia's climate.
So I'm looking at the weather patterns here, and again, if you've never been to Colombia, Colombia has basically the same weather year-round, no matter where you are. It might just be a little more rainy or a little more dry because dry and rainy season. So the average high looks like it's about 22 degrees Celsius, which is roughly close to about 80 degrees Fahrenheit, and then it's basically 15 or 16 degrees Celsius, which is about 60 to 65. So in the daytime, it got warm enough where, like, if you were, walking pretty fast or running, you'd break a sweat, and if the sun felt really nice and warm. But in the evening, it was cool enough that you could put on a light jacket or sweater and actually feel quite comfortable, wear jeans. But in the daytime, you might want to wear shorts. So I love the weather here. I thought it was better than Bucaramanga, better than Medellin and Ibagué because it got cooler at night. And a lot of the Airbnbs here did not have air conditioning available. I would still take an air conditioner to drop the temperature about 5 degrees cooler at night inside the apartment, Fahrenheit, or 2 or 3 degrees Celsius cooler. But yeah, I really liked it. I think this is amazing weather, and it wasn't too bad with not having an air conditioner.
No, and we could have fixed it by opening the window a little bit, but there were a lot of bugs.
There's a lot of bugs, yes.
And we are close to noisy road, and we're kind of like noise sensitive, and we like just be super quiet when we sleep.
Safety. I felt it was really safe. I feel like people are really more at ease here. You see people with their phones out. You see people walking at all times of day. And they didn't seem like they were grabbing onto their bags and holding them.
Again, like Bogota.
Yeah, Bogota is really bad about that. I mean, like when you go sit down at a restaurant, you literally like put your bag like in your lap or something, or like you still have it strapped to you some way, because that's just, theft is a much bigger problem in Bogota and the bigger cities, but I didn't get that sense here at all. We actually went to the mall, and they had an area where people had their laptops out. And
just working,
working. We eavesdropped. Somebody was planning a wedding. And it was a ton of people just like, working and doing whatever, or just pulling their laptops out. And I was like, that's something I had not seen a lot in Colombia, period. It just really depends.
Also, another big point, especially for me being from Bogota, we were super comfortable taking taxis off the street at all times in all areas of the city. You would never do that in Bogota, or at least me as a native Bogotana would never do that. And we did that here, felt super comfortable. We didn't feel like we were ripped off.
No.
Ever. Just do watch out for the area that is close to the terminal. One of our drivers did say that that's where, a lot of drug deals happen, and it's just kind of grungy.
Yeah.
You don't want to walk around that area.
The actual city towards the city center, kind of grungy in some areas. Some areas were really nice, but it did kind of feel a little grungy. But we were more in the northern part of Armenia, where actually there were some nicer restaurants. There's like a huge medical district where we are, so
right next to it. Yeah,
it was nice. It didn't feel too bad
at all.
Let's get into activities. All the random things we did, the random things you can check out. The number one thing that I think you gotta do is check out some of the coffee shops. We went to several coffee shops. I mean, Barista. When we went to Salento, we went to Concreto.
Well, there's so many.
Yeah, there's Cafe Quindío, which is from this area because we're in the department of Quindío. And I love Cafe Quindío. I think that it's some of the best coffee that they offer here in Colombia. But we went to several different coffee shops, had coffee. When he doesn't drink coffee, I had coffee. And had like a torta or a cake or a croissant or something.
Something from their bakery section.
Yeah, but they do take their coffee shops very seriously here. There's a huge variety of them. They're not all like chain coffee shops. They're all very unique and different, and I really like that. It was really cool.
And they all have like a very unique vibe, and they're very inviting. The service level is like great.
Yeah.
Another great option for food variety is Container City. It is located on Avenida Centenario on the north part of the city, and you can find so many different restaurants: hamburgers, sushi, arepas, pizza. There was a really healthy restaurant called Be Energy that we liked a lot.
That was nice.
Yeah, and they have steak, more coffee shops, and it's a good place to go eat, hang out.
They had a couple of businesses, some people selling art.
Yeah, architecture firm, insurance.
Yeah.
They have
What?
the ice cream
Oh yeah.
thing is.
There's somebody selling ice cream in the shape of dicks.
You might have to beep that out.
Well, I don't know if I have to.
You should.
Anyways, it's a cool area to check out. I know they have one in Bogota and probably some of the other cities, but it's kind of a common thing where they basically create, all the restaurants are made out of containers, like shipping containers. That's why it's called Container City. And then it's just a bunch of different restaurants, and it's pretty neat to check out. Right around the corner is Parque de la Vida. It's a huge park where they have tons of different recreation, from tennis, rollerblading, some other things. There basically was a small, very small hike, but
they have more like different trails.
yeah,
from what I saw.
there are different trails. It was a nice sized park and tons of birds and animals. They have it caged in. They had that I forget the name of that animal.
Oh, so it is actually called Guatin.
Okay, there's a whole bunch of those. And then it basically was a botanical garden. They just didn't call it a botanical garden of Armenia. It was just Parque de la Vida, but it did cost like
3,000 per person, 3,000 pesos.
to enter the park, and then you walk around. It was just really enjoyable. It was nice.
Just make sure you do go to the main entrance, because it seems like it may be closed. It's not. It is open. You just have to go to the main entrance where you paid your ticket. You can also go to Jardín Botánico del Quindío. We love going to botanical gardens because it is, you just connect with nature, right? You can go see so many different palms. They said they have about 200 different species of palms, animals, birds, tons of birds.
What was different about this Jardín or this botanical garden is, I would say that you had to pay to do a guided tour, because
yeah, there was no other choice.
There was no choice here, so it was like 50,000 pesos, which is fairly expensive, but they did guide you and they gave you a lot of thorough information. I didn't even know about different palms and different plants, and they really explained a lot of things.
The birds.
Oh man, there were so many birds at this particular botanical garden. I could not believe the amount of birds that I saw. Just when we went to a bird lookout, I was like, wow, like it had to be close to a dozen types of birds, all different colors. It was pretty. It was.
They also have a butterfly garden, butterfly house. What is that called?
Yeah.
That was my favorite.
Although when he was like freaking out when a butterfly lands on her.
Because it feels weird. But
But it landed on your jacket and you freaked out. Like what? Like that's Whitney. Like they're so pretty. Butterflies.
Hey, that was my favorite part. It was still really, really good. And
Yeah.
it's not in Armenia. It's in Calarca, which is a really close city.
Yeah, it's just right across the valley.
But to get there, it is super easy to go to the Éxito in downtown and grab a bus. That's gonna cost you like 2,500 pesos.
Yeah.
And it's gonna take you to the botanical garden. It actually says Calarca Mariposario. So that's the bus you wanna take to go there, because we took a taxi from the same location and it charges 40,000 pesos.
Yeah, 40,000 versus like paying like 5 mil. Like,
Yeah. I mean, if you're a big group and they let you get in the taxi, it might be.
Yeah, it might be more feasible
But we heard another lady that she paid 60,000 pesos for the taxi. So just go to the Éxito in downtown, grab the bus. It's super cheap.
My favorite part is that Whitney screams when a butterfly touches her. Because it feels funny! Downtown, one of the things you can do in any given city or town in Colombia is go to their downtown square, and
Plaza de Bolívar.
the Plaza de Boulevard is like in every single town and city.
Main city.
Yeah. What was cool about the one in Armenia is that Carrera 14, so the street 14, it's about a half-mile walk from Plaza de Boulevard to the other park.
Parque Sucre.
Parque Sucre, and they have that whole walk is designated for people.
Pedestrians.
Yeah, pedestrians. No cars can go on it. They can cross it, but they can't go on it. So it's like a really long, nice walk. It felt like an outdoor mall.
Yeah,
So
tons
lots of
activity.
activity.
Dancing,
Yeah.
performers.
And we were lucky. We had no idea that the weekend that we were walking around, that it was the 133rd birthday of Armenia. So we got to see this massive parade where they were showing the traditional Colombian clothing and dances, and they were doing like a beauty contest.
They always do a beauty contest,
yeah.
so you get to see the queens.
Yeah,
and
tell us more about that, because I don't know about this beauty contest thing in Colombia. Like,
it's just super common. It's called fiestas, right? Because to celebrate the town, the city, and there's always a beauty contest. And so there are women representing like each one of the comunas in the cities, and so you just kind of like choose your favorite, and then
and Whitney was just letting me look at other women, and I was like, all right,
you have to choose your favorite.
And I was like, the favorite one that I absolutely loved through the whole parade was the one standing next to me. Oh.
He's minus.
But I was like, you need to get one of those outfits. But anyways, it was cool. I liked machete dancing. I was like, I didn't know that was a thing until I saw people dancing with machetes, and I was like, that's super cool. So that was my favorite part.
Yeah, I love this type of parades. Like it's so fun.
It was really good. It was fun.
You can go to so many different towns while you are in Armenia. Of course, the number one reason why most people come to Armenia is Salento.
Yeah, we went to Salento one weekend that we were here, and we also checked out Finlandia. So we went 2 days Salento to check out the Cocora Valley, and then we went to Finlandia, and each town was really different. Like Salento was really cute, felt very safe, very comfortable just to walk around.
Very catering to
the
foreigners.
Gringos, the foreigners. And of course, one of the biggest things is it's like the biggest town near the Cocora Valley, so that's where a lot of people stay. So they had a whole wheelie operation where they had these old like World War II Jeeps that they still function today, and drive people to the Cocora Valley, and then you go
To the other towns.
enjoy the Cocora Valley, do the hike or whatever. They go to the other towns as well. We took a wheelie all the way to Finlandia and stayed there one night. Finlandia was awesome. I didn't know that they were gonna have such an amazing lookout when we ate for dinner. The lookout was just amazing to watch the sunset. But they also had this huge structure that's probably like 5 stories tall, made out of wood, where you can just kind of like
you get a 360 view of all the towns that are around. You could see Parque,
Armenia,
Quindío, and so many other towns I don't remember.
A bunch of other little small towns that you can easily get to. And the bus ride from Armenia to Salento is about 30-40 minutes. And the ride to Finlandia, 30-40 minutes. I think Parque is only maybe an hour away, maybe just 45 minutes. So like this city is really, really close to a lot of other places, and it's cheap to get there. Like
pretty cheap. Go to the terminal, ask where the buses to Salento go, because it's a little bit confusing. It is kind of like outside of a terminal. Jump on a bus, and it was 5,500 per person.
Yeah. We're going to the Mirador, which is the lookout, and we gotta go up this huge flight of stairs on top of this thing. Let's do it. Just a huge flight of stairs. I think this is more than Guatapé. It's a lot of stairs. A lot of stairs we gotta go up here. But I think it'll be worth it. It's already looking pretty awesome behind me. Breathing heavy. Here we are, got a little cross up here. And then we're getting hustled for beer and water. Whoosh.
I felt that on my leg.
Here's the Thai restaurant with an incredible view and really good food, so we haven't made a decision yet. But man, this view is amazing. Mountains all the way around. Whoosh. What are we doing here?
Putting on lemon. It's your favorite thing. Activity number 7, Cocora Valley. This was the highlight of our trip because we got to do a 7-mile hike through the valley in the Bosque de Niebla, the fincas.
We love hiking, as you could probably tell if you're really watching our YouTube videos. So that 7-mile hike that they said takes 5 to 6 hours, we did in 4 hours.
But we didn't go to the hummingbird house.
We didn't get to the hummingbird house. We did skip over that just because we were like, I don't know if we had the time or like how much.
It was.
We were hungry too.
Yes.
So we're like, let's get back and go eat. But yeah, Cocora Valley is known for having the tallest palm trees in the entire world. So that's kind of like the big appeal of it. Plus, it's just really pretty. It's also the valley that Encanto, the Disney movie, was based off of. So you're going to see tons of different birds and animals and like wildlife and just different variations of green. There are a lot of other hikes there to do. So we want to go back. There was a mountain called
Morro Gacho
that we know we can hike to. We were asking some of the people that one. They were saying that one takes 12 hours.
12 hours, yeah.
6 hours to go up, 6 hours to go down. So I don't know how true that is, but that's an all-day thing. So we just not have time for that. So
plus, it was kind of dangerous because of the rainy season.
But it's beautiful. Like 100% recommend. I would say if you're just wanting to tour Colombia, Salento should be like one of the top choices. The weather is amazing. And Salento is a little bit higher in the elevation, so it got much cooler at night, which is what I like. So we slept really good. We also got a really nice hotel with a
amazing hotel. Yeah. If you go to Salento and if you can stay at Plaza Salento,
It was excellent.
The bed, the breakfast, the people, everything was excellent.
It was great.
Another thing to note, it doesn't matter the weather. If it's clear and sunny or if it's rainy and cloudy, it's still very beautiful. We got both perspectives and it was still magical both times.
Magical is a good way to describe it.
It's magical.
Encanto, like a Disney movie.
It was magical. I loved it.
All right, guys, no place is perfect. No place is perfect at all in the world. Although we are having an amazing time in Colombia and checking out all these different cities, and Armenia was awesome, there are some really weird negatives that I just have to point out. Number one,
Complaining time.
yes. Number one was the chicken. So, like, their chicken smells weird and it tastes weird. And I don't know what it was. And what's also weird about, like, this whole buildings in Colombia, the way they make buildings, they don't actually have insulation or central AC inside them. They have these vents. In fact, like, we need to pick up the phone and I need to show you what I'm talking about. All the way, this is the way they make buildings in Colombia. And they have these vents. And I know this is super typical in Colombia and probably typical in other parts of the world, but they have these vents because they typically have gas stoves, so they want the gas to, like, release and go to the air. And in the middle of the buildings,
It's a safety measure.
it's a safety measure. And I agree with that. But at the same time, I'm like, when you have this type of infrastructure, guess what? When people start cooking in all their other apartments, you can just smell everything they're cooking. So you can smell their nasty chicken or whatever they're making. And it's just a plethora of different smells. And it's just, like, really weird. So to me, that is a huge negative in any part of Colombia, but that was particularly bad in this building, I thought. And every single day we'd be, like, sitting here around 4 or 5 o'clock and be like, man, what is that smell? What is going on? It was just people cooking and it just started smelling weird. So we had to open the windows because of that. So let me tell you about the windows. These windows, they're awesome. I love how big they are. But one of the things that I've noticed in almost every building that we've been in across Colombia is that the windows are single pane. And streets are noisy here with their motorcycles and their buses. So, like, all the sound goes through these single pane windows. I think I've been into one apartment that had double pane windows, and it did actually get really quiet in there. But if there's one thing I wish Colombia had was double pane or triple pane windows, especially in these larger cities like Bogota and other places. But that meant we didn't sleep as well at night. And also, like, it's more susceptible to whatever the weather is outside. The last thing we're going to complain about is...
I'm not complaining.
I'm complaining. The lack of variety of food in smaller towns, especially this area, Armenia, like, trucha, all right? Seriously, there was so much trucha.
Especially
It's a
Salento
fish.
in Finlandia.
Oh my gosh, there was trucha on every single menu, and I'm like, I'm so tired of this freaking fish.
Trucha en patacón.
Trucha and patacón, trucha and patacón, trucha and patacón. I was like, there was like trucha, smoothies,
Trucha ice cream.
trucha de helado, trucha,
Helado de trucha.
helado de trucha. No, there was a lot of trucha, but in the smaller cities, there's a lot more Colombian food. And I'm sorry, like, I don't really like Colombian food that much. I think it's very bland and boring, except for the soups. And maybe I like the Caribbean food or the Pacific food the most.
Yep.
But a lot of the food I find in Colombia to be very bland, and I'm always adding a ton of spices, hot sauce, salt, and stuff on top of it because I'm like, gosh, like, people here do not like things with flavor. So it's just so interesting to me. So things are not perfect in Colombia. That's what I'm trying to say.
Well, also, in terms of food variety, at least for me, there's not as much healthy food.
Yeah.
So, like, if you go to a restaurant, a salad is just like the regular
Lechuga.
lettuce that you find everywhere.
Lechuga,
there is
only
no,
lechuga.
there is no variety of
Where's my
greens.
kale, my spinach, my
Yeah.
all the other types of dark green leafy greens.
Same with veggies. It's always like either corn and tomato, and that's kind of like it. And with one variety of veggies, and
Yeah.
that's not as available.
In conclusion, I would say
Conclusion.
we do really like the smaller cities and smaller towns because it is way more laid back. It's not so rushing, hustle bustle, and it
You feel
feels safe.
safer.
Yes, much safer. But on the flip side is that there's not a huge variety of food options, and that kind of gets to us as well. So like we go back and forth. Like we love going back to Bogota because like there's a ton of different types of food you can find in Bogota, restaurants, and like, but here it's hard to find that. And you're like, man, like there's always the same thing to go get. But
Yeah, but it's because food is very important to us. It's a big part of our life.
yes,
We put a lot of energy into choosing what we eat, where we eat, the variety of food that we put in our bodies. So that is a big deal to us.
yes. But other than that, thank you guys for watching. I hope you got something valuable out of what Armenia has to offer and the towns nearby. Please like, subscribe, and all that jazz.
If you're considering coming and living in Armenia, do it. Try it out for like 3 months and see what's your vibe.
Yeah, what's stopping you?
Take the
Peace.
step forward. Johnny is struggling in this apartment, Airbnb. Please, guys, be honest with your Airbnb reviews. We booked this one because it said that it was comfortable. It had a hot shower. But look,
Cold
Johnny?
shower. The bed sucked. The bed was crap-tastic.
and Johnny's head touches the ceiling. It's been terrible for him, but it's been hilarious for me.